So first of all, I have to be honest. I'm bad at integration myself. Like I'm just not good at it. I I run this extremely busy ayahuasca retreat, which recently we calculated we have 49 people working for us,
Oh wow.
and we host three retreats every month, and on average 70 to 90 people come. So, and I
Wow.
drink medicine once a month, and it really helps me, and I always learn something new. But integration, I believe, requires time, and I don't have any. So I'm just kind of like it. Definitely, ayahuasca still helps me even without integration. I think
Absolutely.
so. There's like 50 shades of integration because you cannot have zero
Hmm.
integration. Like
No.
to have zero integration, you still have some. So what we're trying to describe is like how to get the optimal integration. But for me, the optimal integration would be first of all switching off my phone for a week. But if I do that, my business collapses. So I have to be
Unless you let someone
realistic.
else take the business for a
Yes,
week.
I'm working on that. I'm actually in the process of hiring a general manager. But so I
But you
integrate.
see, this is where it gets interesting, right? When integration starts asking. That's what I mean by it has a demand, right?
Mhm.
So you can tell me, yeah, I think integrate really the next good step for integration for me is I need a week off. But I can't, right? And then it's like, but dot dot dot.
Mhm.
And I would say, like, wait, but what if that's the integration? The integration is to do the hard thing, to open up, to trust someone, to give them responsibility, to, right? That sometimes integration looks like that. It looks like a business decision.
Mhm.
That's why I think it's such a beautiful art and science, the idea of integration.
And it's definitely a guilty thing for me because you can if you're watching a video on whatever it is for you, like right side of my face, there's an integration journal that I wrote for people, which
Hmm.
we give to people when they come to the retreat, so they journal. But I hardly journal maybe twice a month, and I'd like to do it
Hmm.
more, but it's just not possible. And then I tell them everything, from all the instructions. And I've interviewed 10 people talking about integration, all amazingly. And I know everything there's to know about it. But yeah, the other thing is actually doing it. So let's talk about that. Let's
Hmm.
be realistic. Same as me, I'm busy with my business. Other people also, they come back home. They have to go back to their job because unfortunately they can't just
100%.
take a few months off and they have to make money. And then there's like extremely addictive devices that we have to use for work, but then you get dragged into like doom scrolling and stuff like that. I actually, let me,
Hmm.
not sponsored, but there's this app. It's called Stop Scroll that I got like
Uh-huh.
5 days ago. Amazing. It
Yep.
just doesn't let you see any short format video because I can sort of resist long format content still. I have enough like willpower, but for
Willpower.
short format stuff, it's like cocaine for your dopamine brain. So
Exactly what
how
it
do
is.
people that they just had powerful ayahuasca experience, transformative. They've learned so much. Now they're going back, but they still have to have a job. They still have a family. How can they integrate?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you talk about integration requiring time and patience, but they don't have that much time. What can we do? Because I also need to know.
I think I totally agree with you. We can't. I've seen many people blow up their life to integrate experiences, and I don't know if it's rarely necessary. There is real world responsibilities, like you said. We have jobs, we have partnerships, we have kids, businesses, uh, and those are real. We can't just drop off everything. And within that, I truly believe in that cliche that it's not that you don't have time, it's just you're not prioritizing. And that's where the conflict begins, right? Old versus new. If I go to do an ayahuasca retreat with you, Sam, and I come back and I'm like, I see that I have a phone addiction as a way to regulate my feelings or dopamine seeking, and it would really benefit me if I cut it in half and instead read a book or spend more time with my partner, or that's my integration, that's my responsibility. So the idea is to do what I call the next first step, which is like, okay, that's the goal. The goal is to cut your screen time from 6 hours a day to 3 hours a day. Let's say we're not cutting it all together because that's usually those goals kind of fail. I'm like, great. What's the next first step? Do you download an app There is a thing called Cube that takes all your social media apps and locks them in your phone and will not give you access for more than a prescribed amount of time a day. Right? There's all these things that you can do. So it's like, okay, what's the next first step? So lock your apps, right? Download something and you decide, that's it, I'm committing. I'm locking the apps for I can only do 2 hours a day. But now that's just the first step. Usually what's hard for people is once you change the habit, all kinds of things happen internally because you open up space. So all of a sudden, I'm nervous and I can't distract myself with my phone. Or I have 5 minutes, like I have 10 minutes between clients. And instead of doing my usual phone check, I'm just sitting with myself. That's the more interesting part for me, right? The changing of behavior is one thing, but it's like what happens when the behavior changed? That's where the transformation is. It's like, oh, wow, now that I have all this time, I'm noticing that I carry a lot of anxiety and a lot of tension in my body. And it's sometimes not easy for me to relax. Or when I don't distract myself, I talk to my partner, all of a sudden I feel more vulnerable or all kinds of things. I think for me, that's where the work, the deeper to closer to the core work happens in integration that then gives us the behavioral change. Because when I do that, my psyche, my system, and the connection between my psyche and the plants will start giving me the insight as far as what's the behavioral change. Because then I'm like, oh wow, you know what? I cut 3 hours of screen time, and I see that if I meditate for 20 minutes, or go to the gym, or take a walk, or sit outside and stare at my plants, I feel better. That's the practice. But it only can come through noticing what happens when I change the behavior, when I take away the habit.
What do
So I
you
really
think?
believe, yes, and within the within the constrictions and responsibilities of our life, we can all open up. And I've worked with really almost every demographic. I worked with very busy CEOs to people who are, 9 to 5ers to people who are off the grid. Everybody deals with this issue of prioritization, and everybody finds time. Some more, some less.